All right, I want to sort of get ahead of this story and spend some time today talking about supposed Biden mask mandates, because the amount of disinformation that we're already seeing, if it's at all a preview, is going to absolutely explode when Joe Biden is actually sworn in as president of the United States on January 20th. So to go back a little bit, right wingers have been warning, even during the campaign, Joe Biden will lock everyone in their homes. Joe Biden will be a dictator with masks and all sorts of other things if he becomes president. And over the last 48 to 72 hours, we heard two different things that are not the same thing. Very important. We heard from Dr. Anthony Fauci that indeed Joe Biden plans to do a 100-day mask initiative. And within that, there will be a piece that is a federal mask mandate. Now, when you hear federal mask mandate, many people imagine something that is very different from what we're actually going to get. So let me say this in the clearest terms possible. Joe Biden nor any president can mandate a national mask wearing law where everybody's forced to wear a mask outside of their homes. I've already addressed this, so listen very closely to what I'm going to say. What Joe Biden can do is address the nation from the Oval Office and ask people to wear masks. He can call the governors of 50 states and ask them to put in place mask mandates, which governors can do in various areas. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker is an example. Earlier this week, he's a Republican, announced that there will be a mask mandate in workplaces in Massachusetts. We got an email from our office tenant where everybody's working from home anyway right now, but they said everybody's got to wear a mask per Charlie Baker's order. Governors can do that given states' rights. And yet there's a ton of headlines today which are very confusing in talking about a Joe Biden nationwide mask mandate, suggesting the federal government will force everybody to wear a mask. So let me explain what's going on. As the president of the United States, part of the federal government, Joe Biden plans to issue a mask mandate that includes federal buildings as well as airplanes, trains, and buses, which are regulated by the federal Department of Transportation. That's it. That's the mandate. That's what the president can do via executive order. And in just about every state, masks are already required in all of those places. Now, I do have some federal government employee friends who work in red states who have told me, you know, the equivalent agency in Massachusetts and in California, you've got to wear a mask. In my office for that same agency in a red state, our boss has not mandated masks. That will change based on this mask mandate for federal buildings, but it will change very little else. So before we go crazy misstating what this is, Joe Biden's mandate will apply only to federal buildings and transportation vehicles regulated by the DOT. Beyond that, any mask guidelines from Biden will merely be guidelines. They will be requests. They will be proposals. It will be up to your governor to decide what to do. That's it. Now, Dr. Fauci has said wearing masks for 100 days is a good idea. It will be up to the people and governors ultimately to decide what it is they want to do. For people who have been wearing masks for months already, this is going to be much ado about nothing. Consider that, you know, there is now a light at the end of the tunnel. Let's actually work together to start getting past this. If we can start, here's my trajectory. If we can start vaccinating 5 to 7% of our population each month, maybe that includes December. Maybe we only get, 1-2% done in December. In January, we get 5 to 7%, February, et cetera. This means in 6 months, we could have somewhere between 30 and 42% of the population vaccinated, plus the 5 to 10% who will have recovered from the virus. We don't yet know how uniform immunity is when you recover. There's the idea that if you have a very light case, your immunity may not be as robust as if you recover from a more serious case. So we don't know exactly, but we could be heading towards a roughly 50% level of immunity by May 1st, maybe by May 15th. That won't be the end, but it will be a dramatically better situation. We will also likely at that point have cheap at-home tests. So like for me, if I imagine, hey, I might be able to order 50 or 100 of these cheap at-home rapid tests. I've been very cautious, but I've continued going to the grocery store. I go to the post office during the summer. I was hanging out outdoors with friends, eating outdoors at restaurants. If we had on May 15th, May 1st, May 15th, 50% immunity and these at-home tests, I would likely be ready to say, for example, hey, here's a group of 6 friends. We've all been working from home. If we all do a rapid test, I would be comfortable if we're all negative, hanging out indoors, maintaining a reasonable amount of distance, assuming we're at 50% immunity with these tests. Okay, I mean, listen, it's not perfect, but we're talking about May, June, and to be clear, with half the country vaccinated. Now, you also have to remember there is a lag time on vaccination immunity. And what I mean by that is the time until vaccinated people actually reduce the number of deaths is weeks. And what I mean by that is on day one, you get dose number one. Dose number one confers some immunity, but not all. So that starts to have an effect. Day 22, 21 days later, you get your second dose. And then 7 days after that, you would be considered to be, there's a 95% chance that you were immune. So by day 28 to 29, you ideally are no longer getting other people sick who you might have gotten sick were you not vaccinated. Since it takes 20 days in general from when someone catches the virus to when they die, if they're going to die, vaccinated individuals will not be fully effective at reducing deaths for 48 days. We won't see the impact on deaths of a vaccinated individual for up to 48 days. Now, we know that after dose one, you can be as much as 70 or even 75% likely to be immune. So these are all confidence intervals. But I think you understand the point that there's a lag time before which vaccination is not really doing that much to stop cases and to stop deaths. So the point is, this is a process, and there is every indication that by May 1, May 15, we will be in a better situation. Masks will likely be required in just as many places as they are today. But we had 2,960 people die yesterday. We're essentially at a 9/11 every day. So rather than lying about what Joe Biden plans to do, let's work together and start getting past this.